Boy howdy everybody, Shane Merstier here after quite the patch drought to finally rain that juicy feature water all up in here called 2021.4.1. There's a lot of new features to chat about, so if you're into wasting time, we ain't got time for that. The juice this time around is that last major patch they updated to Unity 2019 if you remember. This patch they're adding stuff that required 2019, and in this case we're talking about the first chunk of the UI overhaul, so let's go over it. First, the elephant in the room for some people, I've referenced it before, but SDK2 for avatars and worlds is really deprecated. Like, really. Like, even VRChat has gone from, you shouldn't use this, to, don't. It's going away sooner or later, more sooner if it breaks badly, so update your stuff to SDK3. Alright, menus. Promised over the spring, they're finally kind of here. Quick menus, yes. All the menus, no. But we'll go over that right now. So let's take a look. Alright, got my hands, love my hands. Press the menu button and here's the quick menu, which is also apparently called the launch menu, or the launch pad, or whatever generic word VRChat wants to call it at this moment. They got the little news stuff up here, which is cool. They got the quick links that you're usually used to down here. They also have a new go home button if I recall correctly. Calibrate full body tracking now is a little bit more obvious, and they got emojis over here for some reason. They have this cool little button here, which is the panic button, but now in a button called safe mode. So if you're like freaking out over something, just hit that button, all the avatars go away, everything is zen, everyone's muted, you can just have a nice little breather. Mute button, as usual. We also got some weird stuff down here, but first let's go over what these guys are. These are the magic buttons. They're wings. They don't do everything that they said they were going to do, but the left one right now is avatars, and the right one right now is informational. You got stuff like your status, what avatar you're wearing, which is also right over here. You got the world that you're in, how many people are online, what you're looking like, which is nice. In the future, they're going to be able to actually change what these wings show, stuff like that. Let's take a look at the bottom. We got the launch pad, which is what we're on. This little cool thing up here, which has your frame rate and your ping, you actually have to turn that on. We'll go over that in a minute. Notifications. Any notifications you got, they're going to be here. Then you got this weird one called Here. So like the Here menu gives you info about where you are, unsurprisingly. You'll also see users that you've blocked here, and if you're the instance or world owner, the users that are blocking you here, if they're in the same room, obviously. So yeah, you can rejoin this world, which is a brand new button. So if something's going wrong, you don't have to look up where you are and all this stuff. Just go to the Here menu and rejoin world. Very easy. You can also make a new instance right from here based on this world. Then you can also add this world to a playlist, and you can report it here if you wanted to. And it shows you who's actually here. So an aptly named icon, if I do say so for myself. All right, so beyond here, we have the camera button, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And we have this audio button, which is essentially the audio screen from the previous version. You can change your master, you can change your world, voices, avatars, change what your current microphone is, and crank that up or crank it down if you want. It's the same stuff. We also got this thing here, which we'll talk about in a second. We also got settings. You can change your nameplate displays. I always have them off because you don't really need to know who you're talking to. You can just find out by their face, right? You got the quick menu info, which hides extra nameplate information while the quick menu is open. This is good, so when this is off, you can still see stuff once you have the quick menu open over people's heads. Very useful. So then you got the nameplate settings icon, which is kind of weird because when you click on it, it brings you to something that we traditionally know about if you've gone through my videos in the past, including the status one now. So you can see people's status on quick menu open if you want, or always, which is sort of interesting. What else do we got? We got the fallback icon, which is a new icon in this version. It will literally show a feather over people's heads when you have their fallback avatar on, which in the last version, they had one that literally said fallback on it. So this is a little bit cleaner, less clutter in the quick menu. You got the HUD icon, which is to show or hide HUD icons. You got tooltips, show or hide tooltips, very basic. UI haptics. So when you mouse over things, it vibrates in your hand. And then you got these debug things like the frame rate and the ping and the build number. And you can turn this on and off using this button right here. always have this on. Super useful. I don't know why it starts off. Then you got this button, and this brings us to the traditional main menu, which it had a graphics overhaul. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. That's not my real height. Don't even look at it. So let's look at the camera stuff. So you hit the camera, you have this button for screenshot, which will literally take a screenshot. In my case, my camera's not open. It'll just take a screenshot of what I'm looking at, which is this, which would be really awkward. You also got the photo camera, which is to take photos with. And as you know, the photo camera is a little bit different than what it used to be. Because here it is. It's a lot cooler, a lot cleaner. It's got a whole bunch of buttons on it. And you can hold it with one hand, and it has this nice little UI tooltip to choose the things that you want to choose. When in default anchor, as you know, we're looking at it as if it was a normal camera, and if you click the little flippy thing, there, now we're taking selfies. Very poggers. You also get this little area which hides and shows the UI. This thing resets stuff. So in this case, I can zoom in way far. Hey, nice face there. And then you can push the reset button, and it'll zoom it back down to regular 1.0 zoom. But if we change it to local, and local, as you can see, gives us the nice view of the camera, and we put it somewhere, and we push the little rotate button. Now instead of showing selfie, it literally flips it. So if you prefer mirrored motion instead of non-mirrored motion, then that might be what you're interested in, and you would use this button to do it. And then, as you know, local, if I move around with my hand, the camera comes with us. So there you go. But if I go to world, then guess what? The camera no longer goes with us. That's how it works. But now you also have this thing called the use icon is here. And if you hit it, you can turn the camera even if it's not connected to your thing. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. This is a great little feature. Apparently, there's supposed to be a light on it or something. Oh, there it is. See that right there? The little dot on the top. That's how you know when. You see that little dot on the top? That's how you know where the top of the camera is. So if I turn it, you can see the dot turns. Very cool. All right, what else do we got? Not just anchoring, but we also have behavior now. As you know, we still have smoothed. And if you are a shaky bakey like I am, you can just push the smooth button and everything is no longer shaky bakey. I cannot make easy chicken with this mode on. Then you have the look at me mode, which is kind of selfie. Like, it's the same thing, but probably it'll be more useful if you're using local, because now things move around with you, which is actually kind of useful. And then you can flip it, and it'll still follow you. So depending on how you like things, you might actually want look at me to be doing things. In this case, we'll keep look at me on because it's kind of cool right now. And then you have auto level. And auto level, which we can't use look at me for at this situation. Oh my goodness. And if we use auto level and go back to default, as you can see, no matter what I do with the camera, it stays pointing at the horizon. Auto level is cool if you want it to do that kind of thing. Back to look at me. Hello. All right, what else do we got? We got focus. So let's talk about focus for a second. So focus is a new feature in the camera, and what it does is it sets focus. So if I push full auto, you will see the background here has blurred, but we are looking at me with my beautiful face, and I am not blurred. And that is literally what full auto is supposed to do. Focus on the thing that's in front and blur everything else in the background, or the foreground for that matter. Semi-auto gives you an aperture bar, and if you change the aperture bar, you can make it blurry in different depths, which is pretty cool. And you can push the little reset button to reset it. And then full manual mode is beyond me a little bit. I still need to practice a little bit in this, but you can change the focal distance. As you can see, I can make myself real sharp if I didn't have shaky hands. And then you can also change the aperture, which changes the background level of blur. So now I'm really, oh wow, look at the hands too. I am really focused right now. But we're just gonna go back to full auto because full auto is cool enough. Then we got pins. Pins, what they do are essentially bookmarks for your camera. So if I press pin 1, you will see that I have previously pinned my camera way over here. And this remembers the settings that you've used for this camera. So this camera was pinned in world space and pointing in a certain direction. Oh, geez. Okay. And also had really weird focus settings. So you would press pin 1 first, set it up how you want, and then it'll save that as that pin. Then you could change to pin 2, and as you can see, I have moved that somewhere else. And I can make an adjustment and click pin 2 again just to make sure I set it up right. Now I can go between pin 1, which is back there, and pin 2, which is right here. And then I had pin 3, which is, I guess, pointing at myself. So yeah, you can set up entire scenes with this. In fact, I wish there were more pin icons because it would be really interesting to be able to change between a series of cameras as you wish. But anyway, so that's pins. What's next is timed, and you know what timed is. It sets a camera photo for 5 seconds. Beautiful. And then we have mask, which is kind of interesting. So what we have here is the masking of things in the environment. And masking means turning them on or off. So local player, if you turn it off, you'll lose me. I'm gone forever. Oh wait, no, I'm back. And then you have remote players. So if you have remote players around you and you just want to take a selfie and you want everyone else to disappear, don't you wish that sometimes you would just have everybody disappear? Push the button, they're gone. Very useful. They're not gone around you, they're just gone on the camera. And that's what matters. And then you have environment. If I push the environment, boof, black hole, gone. Perfect. Green screen is a green screen. UI turns the UI on and off. That includes nameplates and stuff like that. Then we have lens visibility. So lens visibility is interesting because you can turn it off, even though the little dot is still there, which is showing you which direction the lens is facing. In this case, it's facing this way, and that's the top. So if I were to turn it sideways, as you can see, the lens is now sideways. And then you have, this is ghost, so it's kind of like semi-transparent. And then you have solid, and that makes you look like you're being stared at by, I don't know, something from Portal or whatever. So that's lens visibility. It's flash fire. Hi, flash fire. I am making the video. And then we have filters, and you all know about filters. It's got blueprint and like speed. Gotta go fast. Actually, these are new, and they look horrible. That's why they're great. So streamer mode is streamer mode. It turns on streamer mode on your computer, even though streamer mode is in your quick menu. And then lock, it locks this interface right here, and now I can't touch it anymore, but I can change stuff. So unlock it, and now I can move stuff around again. Bada bing, bada boom. So that was the photo camera. Stream camera is still stream camera, as you know. When you turn on Steadicam, it turns everything that's on your computer monitor into a Steadicam. Stream camera, regular head-mounted display mode, all of them. Then you got the icon camera, so you can add a user icon as long as you have VRChat Plus. That actually kind of works decently. It's not as good as the actual camera, though, so why would you want to do that? I don't know. And then you got the gallery camera, which, again, it feels like some settings are missing in this. Kind of confused as to how this part is VRC Plus, while the better part does not have the VRC Plus stuff. Very weird. I don't know. Maybe they forgot. I'm not sure. So a couple caveats for desktop users that I can't show here, like clicking select user on the launchpad, which doesn't exist in VR, will toggle a selection mode to select a user near you, or pro tip, just hold down shift to quickly mouse over and click your target user. Also, your view is now locked in place when your quick menu is open in desktop, and your mouse moves in screen space rather than turning your head, which probably will help you in more ways than one. So here we go. Let's look at this real quick. So let's say you wanted to block somebody, and we have flash fire here. So I'm going to target him, and then they have the button for block user. You click block user. Now it actually asks if you want to block them. So no accidentally blocking people anymore. Very nice. What else? The maximum world size for Quest worlds has been raised from 50 megabytes to 100 megabytes. Now you can do double the cool in Quest, but it's also Quest, so is it really? And AV Pro, which is a video playback tool for Unity, was upgraded to 2.2.1. A couple little bug fixes, 2 versions behind the current one, but whatever. Let's talk about some fixes. First, the first-person view Steadicam wouldn't reload the camera settings properly upon loading world, and that's been fixed. Player collider was not able to pass under colliders less than 2 meters tall, or 6 feet for us American people, despite being 1.65 meters tall, which is less than 6 feet. The player collider is now 1.65 meters tall, so now you'll properly pass under things that you're supposed to be able to pass under. Very nice. Seeking behavior with AV Pro was buggy, and that was probably fixed because they updated AV Pro to the new version. The auto resync option on video players was causing crashes, so they've temporarily disabled it. So if you go over to an auto resync button and you're like, why isn't this working? Now you know. There's some improvements to Udon, and Valgan will be able to cover this in more detail in the next week or two, but I'm just going to list a few data types over here. Like system.math sounds like a really cool one that's brand new, as well as the particle system renderer, which should open up some interesting new scripting and new whitelisted methods, which I'll put right here as well, is a pile of stuff that I wish was explained a bit more, to be honest, but that's why we have Valgan. Thank Valgan. He has a Patreon. Couple improvements and fixes with Udon 2. None sync can now be used on the same game object as manual or continuous, and previously none wasn't even functional, but that was fixed, so very cool. And is user in VR would return false when called on start for some players, even if they were in VR, which was also fixed. That's really the big parts about the patch. The camera is cool. The new user interface is cool, even though it's not done yet. Let's get that done. I'm wondering when the new, physics stuff is going to come out. They said summer. VRChat, where's the physics stuff? I want better frames in my dance worlds with all the people with all their bouncing crap. But that's just me. Or maybe it's you too. I don't know. But that's all I got. Tune in for the next patch when it happens. Go back to what you were doing. Bye. I want my physics. Just give me my physics. That's all I want.